What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about a lens that I use on almost every shoot. So the lens we're talking about today is the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 lens. This thing is an absolute beast in so many different situations. I bring it on nearly every single shoot that I have. Super good in low light. There's just so many things that are good about it. So let's jump into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the low light performance. This is an f1.8 lens, and when you pair that with a speed booster like I am on the Pocket 4K, that brings it down to f1.2, which makes it absolutely awesome in low light. Even when you're shooting at the faster apertures like f1.8 and 1.2, it's still tack sharp, so you're not going to see any softness or anything weird that you might see on other lenses when you're shooting at the faster apertures they have. The second thing I really like about this lens is actually the focal range itself. 18-35 on a sensor that's approximately equivalent to a Super 35 crop, which if you don't understand, you can check out the video up here where I explain different crop sensors, is a super nice range of focal length to have and just super versatile for a lot of different shooting environments. You get a nice wide field of view at 18 millimeters, which just allows you to capture the entire environment, but when punching into 35, it just gives you a little bit tighter of a view, especially like I said, when you're shooting in a Super 35 similar size sensor. Just gives you enough of that tightness to get a little bit of that telephoto depth. And when you pair that with the super shallow depth of field provided by the f1.2 or 1.8, depending on whether you have a speed booster aperture, it just looks even better and even more cinematic. One of the other things I really like about this lens is that despite it being a zoom lens, when you actually rotate the zoom ring, the lens itself doesn't extend like it does on other cheaper zoom lenses. The glass fixtures just move on the inside of the lens, which is really nice. This really helps when you're balancing this lens on a camera for gimbal work, as when you're shifting the zoom of the lens, it doesn't actually affect the weight of the way the gimbal is balanced too much, which is super ideal for not having to rebalance the gimbal and just saves you time on set. The lens has a nice focus throw, although it is a traditional focus by wire system. I kind of wish that I had the Cine version so that I could have those hard stops in Cine gears to be able to have a first AC to pull focus. But this photo version of the lens is a lot cheaper than the Cine version, and it has the exact same optics, so you get the same quality and sharpness of the Cine version, but at a fraction of the cost. Now, cost is an important factor when looking at new lenses to purchase, and you can find this thing. I got it on a Black Friday deal for, I think it was $800, which for this fast of a lens, this variable lens, and for how much I use this thing, I've definitely paid it off many times over. Now, I personally have the EF mount version to adapt to a speed booster like I mentioned earlier, but you can get it in a variety of different adapters, and I'll leave a link below to where you can purchase it on B&H if you do want to take a look for yourself. The lens also features a 72mm front thread, so you can adapt it to various different filter sizes. I personally am currently just using 82mm threads that I've got a couple step-up rings for this to adapt those filters to, and that works just great for my current setup. The lens also does have autofocus, so if you're into that, you can use it. I've tested it on my GH4 as the Blackmagic doesn't have autofocus, and it works pretty well with the speed booster. It's obviously not the greatest thing since the GH4 is not the greatest autofocus camera, but frankly I usually just manual focus anyway. For most of my jobs it's not really practical to use autofocus as it's client work and I need to nail the focus every time, which I can trust myself for manual focus for, but I can't really trust the autofocus for. Now, I also have a couple other lenses in the Sigma Art series line, like the 24-70 2.8, as well as the 14-24 ultra wide, also a 2.8. And they're all the same super quality build, like metal sturdy build. Feels like you can toss them around in a bag and on set, and they're all super tack sharp, and I just really love these series of lenses. Now, this one comes in my bag in pretty much every kind of shoot that I go on, especially for low light stuff like I mentioned at the beginning. It's just super amazing. I really don't think you can beat it for the price, and the EF mount is just so versatile, being able to adapt it to RF, Micro Four Thirds, Sony E mount. Like, you can adapt the Canon mount to pretty much anything, so even if you buy this in EF and adapt it to something else, it's going to be versatile for a bunch of different cameras, which is a super nice perk. So just a quick video for you guys talking about one of my favorite pieces of kit. If you did enjoy it, make sure to click the like button down below. It actually makes a difference. And be sure to subscribe if you want to see more filmmaking videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.